For an AI to be really, truly useful, more than just a chatbot, it has to be able to interact with our world. And that means it needs to use tools, things like searching the web, managing your files, or connecting to other apps. But how does an AI actually learn to do that without developers creating this just chaotic mess of custom code? Well, today, we're diving into the protocol that's trying to become a universal language for all AI tools.
So, let's start with the big question here. How do we give an AI agent the power to use a real-world tool? Like searching a database, updating a GitHub repository, or even creating a design in Figma. That ability right there is what separates a simple language model from a powerful, autonomous assistant that can actually get stuff done for you.
Before the protocol we're going to talk about today, the world of AI tool integration was, it was kind of like the Wild West. Every single developer was basically on their own, tackling the same problems again and again. It was pure chaos, super inefficient, and honestly, incredibly frustrating for everyone involved. I want you to just imagine you're a developer for a second. You're trying to connect an AI to GitHub. The old way? You'd have to go read all of GitHub's technical documentation and then manually write special code for every single little thing you wanted the AI to do. Create a repository, list issues, update a file. Each one was a separate, painful job. And this code was so brittle, if GitHub made one tiny change to their system, your whole thing would break. And then, if you started a new project, you had to do it all over again, reinventing the wheel every single time. What a nightmare.
So yeah, that whole mess. It clearly couldn't last forever. The AI world desperately needed a standard, right? A common foundation that would let agents and tools talk to each other without all the hassle. And the solution is actually pretty brilliant, because it's based on an idea we can all understand.
Think about it this way. We have standardized education systems so that everyone shares a common framework. We don't have to teach every single person from scratch how to read or do basic math, right? Well, AI agents needed the exact same thing. They needed a standard curriculum for learning how to use tools, so that each one wouldn't have to be custom-built from the ground up for every single task.
And that solution, that standard curriculum, has a name: the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. Now, it's not a tool itself. It's more like a communication layer, a universal language that lets any AI agent talk to any tool as long as that tool also speaks the language. It's what brings order to all that chaos we were talking about.
So how does this new standard actually create a working ecosystem? Well, it does it by defining two very clear roles, and they fit our education analogy perfectly. You've got the school and you've got the student.
Okay, first up, you have the MCP server. Let's call this the school. A company like GitHub, or even just one person, can set up an MCP server that hosts a library of their tools. The server has all the instructions, all the logic for how to actually run those tools. It's basically a catalog of capabilities, just waiting to be used.
And then, of course, you have the MCP client. This is our student, the AI agent itself. Now, instead of needing to know all the complex, nitty-gritty details of a tool, the agent just connects to an MCP server and asks, hey, what classes do you offer? It can discover and use any tool the server has, without any of that logic being built into the agent itself.
So, how does this conversation between the agent and the tools actually happen? It's a beautifully simple three-step handshake between the client, that's our agent, and the server that's holding all the tools.
It all kicks off with Discover. The agent just asks, hey, give me a list of all the tools you have and tell me what they do. The server sends back this perfectly formatted menu of options. Next step, Choose. The agent's brain, the large language model, looks at what you asked it to do, like create a new repository for my project, and it finds the perfect tool on that menu. And finally, Execute. The agent sends a command back saying, okay, run the create repo tool with this name and this description. The server does all the heavy lifting and just sends the result back. It's brilliant. The agent does the thinking, the server does the doing.
So why is this simple protocol such a huge deal? This isn't just about making life easier for developers. No, this is a foundational piece for building the entire next generation of AI. And this is where it gets really, really exciting. I mean, just look at the difference here. The impact is staggering. Developer effort just plummets. A task that might have taken months of tedious work can now literally be done in minutes, just by connecting to a server that already exists.
Tool reusability goes from 0 to 100% because one single MCP server can serve thousands of different agents. And look at this last one, it's critical, the execution load. By moving the actual work over to the MCP server, the agent itself becomes lighter, faster, and way more scalable.
So let's just put a bow on this. Here's what you really need to take away. MCP creates a genuine plug-and-play ecosystem. It frees developers from all that boring integration work so they can focus on what makes their agents smart and unique. But the biggest idea, the most powerful concept here, is that it paves the way for an internet of agents. Because it's a universal standard, an agent made by Google could, in theory, use a tool provided by an agent from OpenAI. It creates a common ground for real AI collaboration.
And that leaves us with this one final, really fascinating question to think about. For years, AI agents have been powerful, but they've also been pretty isolated. Now that they have a standard language to discover and use each other's abilities, what new, complex things will they be able to achieve by working together? That's the future that the Model Context Protocol is helping to build.